All right, we are live. It's the Spin and Backfist MMA show for Wednesday, March 13th. It's UFC Vegas 88 edition. We'll be breaking down the card, some headlines, some fights broke since the last show, I think. You sent me a video in the whole Spin and Backfist group chat this morning that cracked me up. It's not like big breaking news, but Khabib was doing an interview, and he said his son recently walked up to him and was basically like, "Dad, can you fight like Islam Makhachev?" And he was like, "Yeah." I think I know how to do a thing or two that he does. I blogged that this morning. I just thought that was so funny, kind of a funny place to start.
For me, it was honestly just funny hearing. I think that was the first time I publicly heard him talk about his son.
Just being a dad, yeah.
He usually doesn't talk.
He doesn't talk about
He's
his
very
family.
private.
If you weren't like a hardcore, you would have no idea he has a family at all.
True.
Like you never seen like his wife, his kids, anything. Never on camera. I would imagine they've never been to any of his fights. Obviously, his kid was young.
No, yeah.
His wife, I would imagine, has never been to the fights or anything like that.
I assume she stays in Dagestan for the fights.
I would. Think
I don't even think she comes to America.
I mean, I think his mother always did too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's just like their culture.
That was funny though. That was a really funny clip, and even the way he's talking. And I put it in my blog. I know it's apples to oranges. You can't compare WWE and UFC, but just in terms of personalities and fathers. Goldberg came back to WWE recently because he was like, my son has never seen me in the ring. I want my son to see his dad like that. I said, is there any chance that Khabib's kids growing up getting into martial arts will give him the urge to get back in there, compete in front of his kids? I'd like that.
It's funny you say that because actually, I don't know if you'll be familiar with this name, Bob. I know Jack will. AJ McCarron did kind of like a very similar thing. He was a quarterback for a long time, was backup most of his career, started like a little bit. And at the end of his career, he still was a good backup. And he literally joined the XFL, I think, was whatever the secondary league was instead. So his son could like watch him like play. Like not just like be a backup on the side, watch him like
some
legit like
just feel
throw
like
the ball
that,
around,
yeah.
like play a real game as quarterback. So I could see where people feel
cool.
that way.
And if he doesn't, Khabib's son, he said, is already getting into MMA. He said he's starting to like ask questions, starting to get into it. He's like, I don't want my kids to be professional athletes, but if it happens, it happens. Imagine 20 years from now, Khabib's kid versus Conor McGregor Jr.
Oh my God.
Conor and Khabib in the corners, like Rocky and Drago and Creed 2.
Dude, I mean, just the press conferences of like the two of them sitting next to each other.
Conor will be like a John Fury type personality.
Absolutely.
Conor Jr. wants to go down
especially
that
with
route.
Khabib in the
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm fantasy booking a fight for 20 years from now, but I'm doing it.
Yeah, my brain hadn't gone that far, but you just got me kind of fired up a little bit. I was like,
I
damn.
think the ages would line up pretty good.
I just started thinking of the setup of literally like Creed 2.
Creed 2.
I just was like, wow, like I just pictured
them sitting down.
I literally just pictured a table.
Yeah.
Of just Dana White in the middle,
Yeah.
and just Conor, little McGregor, and McGregor, and then just little Khabib and Khabib just sitting there like the five of them just at this press conference.
Khabib shows up at the Black Forge Inn. He's like, my boy will crush your boy.
Yeah, like Conor's literally like sipping.
Yeah.
He's like actively drinking like on the stage, like,
Yep.
and
I could see that happen.
he's drunk talking shit.
What are the people in the chat like this? Do they like this? Dana would come out of retirement to make that happen, Mitt Romney says.
Yeah, for sure.
Johnny Drama says Khabib is 100% never fighting again. He can't make lightweight, wouldn't risk his record at welterweight. Brother, I don't even know if he could make welterweight at this point. Khabib is a big boy.
Very big.
He looked
Very
big. He was at the
big.
Warriors game not too long ago, and him and Steph were together. He looked huge next to
That
Steph.
was an awesome picture.
That was cool.
I love that. Their interaction was great.
Steph really respected him. Yeah.
Like Khabib is one of those guys I feel like you kind of have to.
Yeah,
But
but I
even
feel
if
like
you're not
most,
an MMA fan,
like I feel like a lot of people like wouldn't get it, like wouldn't get his greatness, I guess, in MMA.
but I think anyone like a Steph, who I think like who plays at that level, like they would I think they just respect greatness and like almost in a sports that even like no one watches.
Yeah,
Like I feel like just someone at like his level, especially also in MMA, no one has the O next to the name and retires.
Yeah.
So I feel like that gives him this level of like, and I mean literally everyone watched him fight Conor.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's the
saw
biggest
it.
pay-per-view of all
And he
time in
fucking
MMA.
beat him down. Like,
Yeah, and just
not to
smashed
bring
him.
that up. We don't have to talk about that, but yeah. Hot Billy says, "Don't be silly, jump the gilly." Did you guys see that Dustin Poirier is now putting out merch with that on it?
Yeah, I
Don't
mean,
be silly, jump the gilly.
that's how you capitalize on momentum.
He said
from the
he'll never
perspective-
stop. He told Ariel, "I will never stop jumping the Gilly. Don't
It
tell me
was
to stop.
so-
I'm not stopping."
It was so interesting in the John Anik. He was saying during the fight, he's never
He's never won a fight with him.
won a fight with the Gilly, but
Crazy.
he does that all.
It's his
like, I feel-
signature move.
Yeah, it's his signature move.
It'd be like if Hulk Hogan like never won with a leg drop.
exactly.
It's crazy.
I told Jack Mac that I fantasized this like skit to do with him around the Gilly, and then he kind of had his own. We were like literally like brainstorming like
Yeah.
skit ideas. And we had, like, I was saying to do this like electric, like where like so like I was like, for example, like me or Jack Mac would be kind of like the prop in this, and like walking like say some of the dust and like he says it back, and then like you just kind of like came in. It was like becomes like a western of like you like in like a standoff,
Yeah.
and if you just ran at him and one of us did like a almost like a Ricky from like Boys Hood, like Robbie, no, like you like run at him and he just jumps, he just hits the Gilly on
Immediately
you.
jumps the Gilly.
And then you were just like asleep, like on the ground. He's like, I told you I was gonna get someone with
that
it.
would be funny. That would be.
And
really
then Jack Mac had the idea of him just like gilling people all over the office.
good. That would also
They
be
would
Like if you just like came out of
Yeah,
the
almost instead of a handshake.
oh, like say I said like you're in the bathroom like washing your hands, you just look up and he's just like behind you, like,
Like,
Yeah.
and you just like turn around and he just like gillies you and then
Yeah.
you're just like asleep on in the
That'd be
bathroom.
really good. People forget Connor jumped the Gilly on him.
Yep.
He did.
He came close too. He was really squeezing.
Because looking back on it, that's when he knew his leg was fucked.
yeah, that's what he
Yeah, I
said in
think-
the
and then-
Notorious doc.
yeah.
Or was it the or the? Was that what it was called?
McGregor forever. I think it
McGregor
is.
forever. Yes.
But yeah, that would be such a funny skit. Both of them. We were scheming
Yeah.
it up. If DP is ever in,
He's in New York. Would love to have him.
well, we should call him Diamond because DP here definitely means
Dave
Dave
Portnoy.
Portnoy.
Yeah.
True.
And then DP also means something else. I think it's like a weird.
Yeah, double penetration.
yeah, double
Oh
penetration.
yeah, it does
Which
mean
is-
that.
which is, yeah.
I didn't even. I was thinking names. I kept thinking, what name goes DP? Yeah.
Because sometimes people will tweet out, "We need a DP right now in baseball," and everyone would quote me and be like, "What?"
Pause.
How could you not be romantic about baseball?
Pause.
But Diamond,
The diamond.
the
Dustin.
Diamond.
Diamond.
If you were ever in New York City and wanted to do a funny,
Yeah.
that would go viral.
And hey, bring the hot sauce because I've had it before.
Would
and
love
it's
to.
great.
we love a over. He owns me. I'm pretty open about it.
He owns you.
Yeah, like
Oh,
I've
because like
bet
you bet
big
Benoit,
on McGregor.
McGregor. Yeah. I mean, he kind of owns me too. I saw him right after the McGregor fight, and like at the airport, we were in like a private lounge because it was a charter plane, and he like walked right up to me and went like that.
Really?
So he's aware of you. All right, that's
I
a good
think he
story.
was. Yeah, he was at least aware of me.
I
don't
mean,
know
for
if
him
he
to
would
do
remember
that, he must
now.
have clearly, obviously. Like,
We had a few
knows.
tweets back and forth in the McGregor lead up.
I didn't realize how big of a psycho he was, and Ev brought it up. What he told
Like
Ariel,
after, that, yeah.
he just disconnected from his family for the past like 3 or 4 months, right?
Yeah, there was a part of it. It almost was like a not quite the extreme of like the Gary V clip he took at a concert where he's like, "Imagine your family's dead," but he was. If you just like, he's like, "Yeah, I didn't talk to my dad for like 3 months. He called me. I just wouldn't
Wasn't
get
answering.
back to him.
Wasn't picking.
I was
up.
only not answering, and not only that, it was not getting back to him.
Yeah.
Was just like just straight ignoring his text.
Bro, you
calls.
can text him right before you fall asleep.
He
Like,
said
you
for
don't gotta
like
be
he said
locked
for
in
the months
24/7.
leading up to it.
Yeah,
Months leading up to it.
yeah,
Didn't
that's
talk to
crazy.
like family, like anything. Was just like just locked in.
That's wild.
I feel like a decent enough stuff has happened since we last talked. That was late. The us being up when it went back messed me up big time. Our forward.
Totally messed me up. And also,
I was so tired on Sunday. I was like, why?
you know what? I saw a clip from the rundown. Did you guys watch the rundown this week when Dave was on it talking about UFC 299?
A little bit, yeah.
He said he was like, "How late was that card?" He's like,
Oh,
he's like, I got home. It was 4 a.m. I was like, Jesus Christ, the UFC's doing this. I don't think he realized the clocks went forward.
No.
I don't think he had any clue.
you know what? It's funny because when he said it to me, I was like, "Wow, that Miami traffic is brutal." When he said it, I was like, "It didn't even occur to me." I
pretty
literally
sure the
lived
clock
through it.
skipped forward, and Dave was like, "Fuck, that was late."
Well, because he said he was like, "Yeah, I left it like 1, like," or he asked Dan like what time the fight's at, and he was
Yeah.
go like 12:30 Central, so like probably like 1:30 like Eastern time, and then he said I get back to 4. It didn't even occur to me
It had
that
to be. He
it
didn't
was
realize.
100%.
Yeah, that made me laugh.
How much stock do you take in Benoit's entire staff? I mean,
People were saying excuses, but like,
that's a pretty good excuse.
dude, he had a fucking hole in his head. We were looking at
Also-
that picture. That
And
looked bad.
if you're on antibiotics, those
Yeah.
fuck you up.
Also, I feel like people now listen, like there definitely people that have made like excuses, but he gave respect. Like he was
Yeah,
like,
he was like, respect to the legend.
yeah, like literally
great being
called him
in
a
there with
legend. Like
you.
I just feel like people make, if you say anything after a loss of like, oh, you could literally be like, yeah, like I walked in with my chin out, and they'd be like, that's an excuse.
Yes.
Like, no, he's literally saying like what happened.
Yeah.
Like,
I believe him based on the photographic evidence of like someone called it a bullet hole in his head.
it did.
Dude, it was a crater. Like you could see it was like a hole that went in. It wasn't a pimple that got popped. It was, I think that was staph.
No, I mean he said it was. I believe him. I mean, it's tough because like it's hard to just gauge how much energy that really took. I believe him that it definitely took some energy, but it's tough to like handicap or gauge, however you want to say it, like how much of a true impact it had on his performance. But I mean, I did see he definitely engages a lot with his chin out, and I think there's a good chance that Poirier probably finds it regardless.
Yeah.
But who's knows? Maybe with the more energy, maybe
Poirier
he's able
doesn't
to
survive.
yeah, maybe he's able to get the sub. Maybe he's able to keep him on the mat when he had it, especially that when he had him flattened out.
I can't believe
Yes.
he didn't finish.
That's
Oh my
it's crazy to
God.
think that 90 seconds later he was like Benoit was asleep.
knocked out. Yeah.
Crazy to think that if you said that position.
And
at that
Dave
time.
said Poirier looked at him, made eye contact with him right before the fight and was like, let's fucking go. And Dave said he was like, he didn't know how to react.
Yeah. And well,
His
Dave,
Poirier might
well,
be a
Dave
story.
also said he meant to bet on Poirier and then accidentally bet BSD. So he just was like locked in. So he was
Yeah.
like he was like pissed because he's like, fuck, like he really wanted to bet Poirier.
That was funny. Yeah, he said Poirier said like, let's fucking go, and turned around. Dave was like, I bet on the other guy.
And he was like, I didn't mean to. He was like, I meant to
And it
bet on
wasn't
him.
like because Dave was right behind Trump. He wasn't looking at Trump.
Dave said he
I
made
thought
eye
Dave was
contact. I
Dave
don't
was in
know.
like the first row though. I thought.
No,
But Trump was like Trump is like against the cage, like not even in the first
Okay,
row.
okay, I see what you're saying.
He's like almost in a commentary.
Because I thought
Yeah.
Dave, because Dave was like,
So-
because like
so funny how you guys-
throughout like the card, you could just like see Dave like a lot.
Yeah.
He was
As
wearing a
soon as they
colorful
got
shirt.
there, I could see
You could
like,
see him
yeah.
like so clearly. That I see what you're saying. There was kind of like Trump almost has like his own row.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
like
Yeah,
up
and-
against the
and-
cage
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Ivanka.
Ivanka,
Yeah.
And then
Literally with Dana.
we may
Yeah.
get Islam versus Dustin.
Versus Poirier. Yeah, there was that video earlier in the week of Ali kind of saying to Dustin, like, hey, if you win like June, and he was like, let's fucking go. Let's do it. Like, of course.
I think with the timing of 300, it could definitely happen.
I think it
'Cause,
could happen
I mean,
too. I
it's-
think fans would
It's
like
hard.
it to happen.
It's hard
too.
to imagine Gaethje Holloway like not being a war.
Yep.
And Armin and Oliveira absolutely could be too for however long that lasts.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Charles fights like a madman, but I mean he
Yeah.
engages like a motherfucker. So shit could go either way, where he could get hurt. Win. It's just tough to envision one of them coming out of that fight and then fighting like 2-3 months later.
And then Islam did say, or in an Instagram post, that he wants to be fed somebody.
Yep.
And then somebody
Did Islam say that or did Ali say that?
Ali probably said it. But why I think it's Islam is because I don't think Ali is good enough to use Islam isms, which somebody responded and commented like the champ is Oliveira. Or like the champ has a name and
Oh, yeah, I
yeah,
saw
yeah,
this.
and then he responded, champ has a belt.
That's
It
good.
was good.
That's good.
So you got to give that to
But
Also, Adams in the chat says Dustin said after the fight he was not looking at Trump. So I guess there's confirmation.
well, it was before Dave said.
But I guess after the fight, Dustin was like, yeah, I wasn't looking at Trump.
Oh, so yeah, I don't know. But no, I could totally see Poirier getting the shot. It's amazing how it's funny. I was explaining to Sean, one of our social guys, would be like, he was kind of explaining the situation. He was like, oh, like Poirier might get the title shot. And I said to him what I just said about like, I don't think they're going to be wars. I don't know if they're going to turn over that fast. But with Poirier, when you get a win like that, it's almost like winning twice. It's almost like getting two wins.
With a knockout.
Like with a knockout like that over like a young contender, like especially on a massive
on that card, yeah.
on a massive card. in
Everyone
Miami.
saw it happen. That was Dave's main takeaway from the card. He was like, Poirier fight was awesome.
I mean, that was the highlight of the night. Like obviously, Sugar was awesome, but that was the true highlight of the night. That knockout was
it's
insane.
crazy comeback.
Fight
The
was
guy
insane.
was facing adversity. He's getting beat on a little bit, flattened out, like you said, and then all of a sudden, as soon as he got up, boom.
I mean, we talked about after. I think that was truly his. That's going to be like his best highlight ever. McGregor, nothing will top McGregor finish, but that in terms
it's
of like
a better knockout for sure.
The knockout itself, that was I think his best. Like, just a perfect hook into like a atom bomb.
McGregor wasn't even like out on his. It was early stoppage.
Yeah.
Like.
yeah. No, he wasn't.
very true.
I'm going to see McGregor next week, by the way. I didn't
That's
say that
awesome.
because it just got booked yesterday. I guess I just got told that I got approved for a spot on the Roadhouse New York red carpet, which I got got by someone on Twitter. They were like, Will and Taylor are going to be there too. I was like, oh, sweet. Like, I'm going to do something with them. And I messaged Will. I was like, are you like working the red carpet or just walking it as a celeb? And he was like, we ain't going, buddy. Who'd you hear that from? I was like, a random guy on Twitter. Sorry.
So that's awesome. So
Yeah.
you'll get to interview him.
Allegedly, I'll get a moment with him.
Yeah.
I do think if Connor sees me, I think he'll walk over.
100%.
And say hi
absolutely
at the
will,
very
Bob, for
least.
Sure.
Maybe I'll get a moment with like Jake Gyllenhaal too.
That's what I was just gonna say
Like,
to you. I
that'd be
think there's
cool.
a good chance you do.
Yeah, that'd be real. And also something weird about the red carpet. Bob Menery is being advertised for it. I think Bob Menery
He's
might be
he's
in the movie.
He's in the movie. He is in the movie.
Yeah, I don't want a moment with him. I don't like him.
You could just.
I'll ignore him.
Bob Menery got.
I might get a
spot
tux
in the
for it though.
movie.
I think I got to get a tux for it.
I saw him do that. He actually, I think I'm pretty sure he like had like scenes with Gyllenhaal. Like I think he has like somewhat of a decent role in the movie.
Weird.
Bob Menery.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Does he do that voice all the time? Jake
don't know.
Gyllenhaal in the UFC, and I say fuck. What else? What fights did we get? Did we talk about Jalen Turner getting added to
Yeah,
300?
because I got added that night.
That's
So,
right.
Obviously, Turner Moicano on
There
300.
was like a weird thing on Google that said that Holloway Gaethje was canceled, but that must just be like a
Yeah, I
weird
saw
back end
that.
It's
thing.
got to be. Yeah, it's got to be a glitch.
And then Dana was pretty adamant about MVP's walkout. He doesn't want that anymore. What do you think of that?
Honestly, I kind of like expected that. When I saw MVP do the dance routine during the walkout, my initial reaction was like, I can't believe Dana approved this, because he was reluctant to approve Adesanya as the champ in Australia. And he had a lot of goodwill at that point, or maybe he wasn't the champ. Interim
He was
champ.
interim. He was
Interim champ. He was fighting
Whitaker.
Whitaker. So I was shocked that he let MVP do it. And afterwards, when Dana said that, I was like, that makes sense. But like, someone had to approve that,
100%. I don't.
because the direction on it was like they were held on him. They
Did
knew
you
he
hear
what
what
he
he
was
wanted
doing.
to do?
No,
He wanted to do this thing where the lights would go off, and then he would be in the cage. They would go on,
oh, like the Undertaker,
And
like
then-
literally, like just appear.
appear, and then the lights would go off, and then he would do his walk. I don't.
Wait, he would be in the cage, lights would go off, and then he would do the walkout to the cage.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out on that last part. The first part sounds like it could be cool, like you just appear in the cage. Going back and doing the walkout, that's bad.
Dana gave me kind of a vibe, almost like he wasn't in on it, which is hard. Part of it's hard for me to believe that because he's so hands on.
Maybe he
But
wasn't,
the the vibe he gave, because
Yeah.
even the Michelle Pereira like dancing,
yeah.
he was asked kind of, it was like a question about kind of both of those.
Yeah.
And he just seemed, it was, I just came off to me like he was, like it almost was like, maybe not someone's getting fired, but like someone fucked up and he was.
Had to be.
Held in
You would
the
have
dark
to
on
think
that.
it would have to be the director, because I know during the afternoon of every UFC pay per view, they do walkout like tests. They have someone walk out.
Okay,
And
so
like-
yeah, so maybe not.
Yeah. So I don't know. Also, Hot Billy says, Robbie, we looked super dumb calling Holland a lock. Buddy, I looked super dumb all card.
I did too.
Until
I really
O'Malley
did
in the main
too.
event, I didn't win a single bet the all night. I think it was 0-8 before that.
The
It was
only thing I was right about was Peter Yan. I was wrong about literally everything else.
so bad. It was a bad
Oh,
night.
And I was really confident a lot. I was
Oh.
like more confident than usual. And
I was
wanna give-
so confident in Holland. I put an atomic missile on it.
Yeah.
And it was
6
bad.
units.
6 units for me.
To give MVP some credit, they were going to have somebody that looked like him in the cage wearing a hoodie, and then you wouldn't be able to see his face. Now, his body type, you probably could find somebody that looks like him, like
It'd
just
be
a long,
tough,
lanky
man.
guy.
Just because the UFC is a 360 environment, like someone's gonna have a picture of his face under that hood where it looks like a stunt double.
And we have to remember too, when it's dark in those arenas, it's not really that dark
It's not blackout.
because there's the lights in from
Like on the side,
are all coming in.
people's laptops on press row.
Yep.
Everyone's flash in the air.
It's really not that dark.
Yeah, like you could. I mean, it's dark enough to maybe hide that, but once the lights come on to reveal like him in the cage, people would be able to see. Oh, his brother was going to do it. That's what the chat is
Right,
saying. The
that
Rumble
makes
chat, his
sense.
brother was going to do MVP's brother.
All right.
Maybe if MVP goes and wins a title and earns some goodwill with Dana and becomes this pay-per-view draw, he'll get that approved. But until
I'll
then,
be the first one to say right here, MVP ain't winning any title.
I mean, he probably ain't. He's older and
Dana even said himself they have to be kind of like very strategic matchmaking him.
Yeah.
He said that in the post
Yeah.
Did
the
you
post
see-
fight presser.
He
I
might
mean,
only have a couple
yeah,
more
like
fights
it's
left.
like it has. I mean, it has to be Wonder Boy, right? Like
No,
what-
MVP
doesn't
said he
want
doesn't
it.
want it.
MVP don't want that fight.
so who like what do you think is like would make sense?
He said that MVP, or he said that Wonder Boy would not be a good fight because the same styles coming together usually don't end up.
Which
I
Yes,
do agree.
yeah, he
I
has
do
a little
agree with
point.
that sentiment. But I just
it's
don't.
like
But who
everyone
like?
wants to just see it. Like, let's just see. But maybe from his point of view, he's like, if I have a boring fight, my second UFC fight, like,
That's probably what he's probably worried about losing.
yeah.
If it's boring, that totally
his
kills his
reputation,
momentum.
yeah.
Yeah, because he just built up so much. He
But
just
like
made
you
such a
said,
great first
like-
impression.
Well, I mean, like, you know who you really could give it to? It would be sick. Yeah, like if Ian Gary isn't gonna get the Colby Covington one, which Colby called out Ian Gary today.
Yeah.
He said that the
He's
stipulations
got
are
terms.
you got to turn on your comments on Instagram, and
Yeah.
if you turn them off after I beat you, you will lose your purse. Then he said he's going to give Layla 60 seconds to convince him why he should fight Ian Gary, and then the third was about the other sports book that he works with.
They got to make that fight, right?
They gotta.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I
if
think it
they-
makes too much sense both sides.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
I mean, they both. I mean,
As for MVP though, like, do you give him Neil Magny?
No, Gilbert
No.
Burns.
That'd be good. That'd be a good.
Maybe.
Fight. That'd be
Does Luke
interesting.
have a fight?
he's fighting on AC.
Yeah.
if he like
Yeah.
wins
So,
that
but-
fight,
but
so
maybe
that
that.
fight's in like 2 weeks though. So
it could
if he
be that.
wins,
Yeah,
if
Wait.
he wins,
Kelvin Gastelum?
that'd be a good fight. At least Gastelum brings the fight, but like MVP's immediately in the rankings. Does he want to
Gastelum
fight out of the
also-
rankings?
this is based off just one fight that was 6 years ago. But I mean, he did well against Izzy, who was like a
Yeah.
big long striker. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's had success against at least somebody like that who's high level.
I don't think MVP would want that fight though. I think MVP wants to fight rankings right away for sure.
Then who does he want to fight?
Anyone ahead
Well,
of him?
Well, he's in the rankings now. He
Yeah,
has
he's
to fight.
13.
JDM?
I mean, he don't want like Sean
No, he
Brady.
can't fight
Like he don't
JDM.
want that. He's not calling out
Okay,
Sean
so
Brady or
then-
nothing. Like
Ahead of him in the rankings right now, Magny's 12, Luque's 11, Jeff Neal's 10, Wonder
Oh,
Boy.
Jeff Neal.
Jeff Neal would make sense. I would almost feel bad for Jeff Neal just having to fight another like long
Yeah.
striker again.
from like overseas, bunch of momentum.
And he had so much momentum built up, like from like the way he finished Luke.
Yeah,
Even the Shavkat fight, people I think respected him a lot for his performance.
Of
in that
course,
fight.
yeah.
He brought a brawl to him that Shavkat is. He's never been like that hurt or like touched like that in any of his fights.
and then
So
Sean Brady's 8. Like
he definitely don't want Sean.
he
Brady.
doesn't want Sean Brady. You're gonna give him some. If he doesn't want Wonder Boy either, I think you're giving him either Magny, Luque, or Neal. I
Yeah,
think those
probably
are the three.
makes sense. Want to build his stock a little bit. They feel all three of those guys are beatable for him.
Yeah. All right. Any other news we want to get into before we get into this card?
Volk said he pretty much will get Ilya.
A rematch, yeah.
Makes
Should,
sense.
yeah.
And then I this is something I'm going to throw out there, and I don't know if people are going to like it, but seeing how beat up Sugar was after the fight was a little concerning for me.
You said that in the group chat. I don't know if I agreed.
He was in a walking boot, and then he had something on his arm.
Yeah, but if he only fights once every couple months,
I don't know.
Like
He's
McGregor's
so
been beat up.
long.
Like McGregor, I think back to like after the second Diaz fight, McGregor couldn't walk. They had to like put this guy in a wheelchair, get him crutches.
But if Marlon Cheeto Vera is doing that to you, what are other guys going to do?
But I don't know how much of him doing that. I mean,
Yeah, I think it was
almost
Sugar.
him doing it to himself
Yeah.
with like volume.
I think it was like he kicked him way too much.
Because I remember
Punched him way
after
too
the
much.
Matinho fight, he literally had to take so much time off because his knuckles were hurt so bad from using
Yeah.
his face as a fucking
That's a good counterpoint.
punching bag.
I
So I feel like
definitely
it's
don't
used-
think it was Cheeto like putting that pain on him.
I guess I'm just a little concerned from the perspective we've seen him hurt before. He's so long, and how he fights relies on so much like health. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't want him to have injury issues. It's just like the walking around with the. I mean, I guess he may have done it to himself, but like the boot, he just was very beat up, and Cheeto didn't really land a lot.
I just think like just the amount of volume he threw in that fight over 5 rounds, and Cheeto is still dangerous. I could just see why like he'd be Nick just be like banged up.
Now
Like, I'd be curious to see how serious, like how serious the injuries are. Because I mean, he went to the club after.
Yep, in his shorts.
So I mean, like I don't know how bad. Like I don't know. I'd be just curious how badly he actually was hurt. Because like for example, the Peter Yan fight, he all the Nelk boys in there were shit. He didn't go out. He said he literally like couldn't move after that fight, and he went to the club after this. So I feel like
But that kind of concerns me.
But I just feel like that's what happens when you get in a war and we just don't realize it.
All right, yeah.
I think like I'm obviously I don't know. I've never fought obviously.
No,
but
yeah,
I just see
yeah.
like I just see someone in his position. You get into a 3-round war, like with someone like Peter Yan. I could see why your body feels like you just got in a fucking car crash.
Mitt Romney in the chat was asking if Sugar should retire the pink shorts after that performance. I don't think so.
He should honestly.
I think that should be a signature
I
thing.
think, or he should just go like new colors,
Purple next time, something weird like that.
I mean, he does
nobody's
does a
purple.
merch drop everything.
Yeah.
He should just match
Lime
it to
green. Like
he should just match it to basically whatever his hair color is that week and like his merch.
they should allow the fucking Pantone color wheel. Like pick any shade of any color you want.
Give my guy Frivola his Mets colored shorts.
Yeah, give him his Mets
I don't even
colors.
like the
Like
Mets.
let
Give my
people
guy
do
his
combinations.
blue and orange.
I wonder why they
fucking
don't.
Green and black. Like that would be fucking cool.
Hell
I don't
yeah.
know.
That looks real the Venom, Michael Venom, little
Totally.
snake.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave fucking Thug Nasty his
Doug
camo
Nasty's
shorts.
got his camo.
He got his camo.
Let people do stripes if they want. Let people do American flag if they want. Like that should be an
I wonder
easy...
what Dana's response is to not allowing that.
When they initially changed from everyone has sponsors to we're wearing uniforms with Reebok now, the reasoning was it looks like NASCAR now. We don't like that. We want like every sport wears uniforms. We want our fighters in uniforms. I kind of agree with that, but it's not like everyone on the PGA Tour has to wear,
Yeah, Ricky Fowler
whatever.
wears that. Where's
the
that
orange
orange
Puma?
stuff?
Yeah, they have
shit,
special
like-
colors they wear.
and that's one of the
yes.
things that made Ricky Fowler like a favorite among young kids and stuff like that. Growing like that could happen with fighters.
No, yeah.
I've brought up Chuck Liddell in the past with the Iceman shorts.
Yeah.
Those are iconic.
Yep.
And like even they make Funko Pops of the fighters now. If you make a Funko Pop of Anderson Silva without the yellow shorts, it could be a bunch of different fighters. But the yellow shorts make him Anderson Silva.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I like it, but I get their point of the uniform thing because it's clear they've done a good job of it. Kind of, I mean, Dana's even said it. They've tried to like almost like imitate like the NFL basically.
Yeah.
And I think
That being said,
and they've done it in the sense of like now like in terms of like there's no star like bigger than like the league.
no. That being said, it is like I roll my eyes when he's like, we don't want to look like NASCAR, and then you look at the mat, and it looks like NASCAR.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
that's
20.
true.
There was 27
That's fair.
sponsors on the mat this weekend.
That's fair. But I guess he sees the leagues. If you go to like an NBA court, there's logos all over courts.
Totally.
So I guess they see it that way.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll do something different with the mat for 300. They did the yellow mat it was supposed to be gold for 200. And they did.
How did you feel about? I think the gold mat looked like shit.
I think
I don't like
it
it.
was kind of like pea colored.
Like I don't think.
Yeah, I thought it was more P than gold.
Yeah, I don't. I think they should keep the normal mat.
Just keep the mat.
That's
yeah.
my take.
I think they should do something like they did for the 25th anniversary card, Korean Zombie versus Yair Rodriguez. They just did the old school UFC logo in the middle. So
See,
it's like
that
the
I
guy
don't
with the
mind. Yeah,
hands.
that I don't mind.
They should
That'd
do
be
something like
cool.
that. I like
I'd
that a lot.
be for that.
Yeah. Or like even like what about a white mat? It's always great. What if you did it white so the blood is extra fucking something stupid like that. Like
White would be tough with blood.
I think that'd be cool.
I'm not opposed. I guess I'd want to see it versus I'm trying to like visualize it.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this card because there's a lot of fights on it. I think 13 fights on this
Love
card.
that. So we keep them all.
We start off in the bantamweight division. Chad and Helliger versus Chiral. This is we're starting
Really
with,
tough
We're
name.
starting with a
very
tough name. This is a guy from Cyprus, by the way.
He's
First fighter
he's
ever from Cyprus?
He's a Sarah Longo guy.
Oh,
He-
is
he was a
he?
He was a Contender Series guy, if you remember from this past season.
Gregorio. He looks so familiar. I do not remember his fight.
He had a big knockout. Like I want to say it was
Huge.
first round.
Probably watched
Like
him because
highlight reels.
he's a
Like it's sick.
Sarah
knockout.
Longo
It's
guy.
Very sick knockout.
Chara
yeah, like-
Lampos.
Yeah, like for
Chara Lampos, Gregorio.
yeah, like Frivola, Aljamain, all them. They all like hype him up that he's really good. They
Wonder
really
if
like
any
him.
of them will be in his corner this weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like Longo.
Longo
I think
probably
Longo
will be,
good
yeah.
chance will be. I'm pretty sure he was for the Contender Series.
He was
fight.
up. He was up at -200. earlier in the week. He's down to -162. There's some love for Anhelger. Or however
He's
you
a
say his name, Chad.
scrapper.
Chad is the Chad. Here's the thing. Charalampos, or however you say his name, has knocked out all like when he wins, he knocks people out. Chad's never been knocked out,
and he's like a big puncher as well.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. The over 2.5 for two big punchers is -110.
So you like the under is what you're getting at?
I don't know. It's tough. I kind of think I haven't bet this fight, so I haven't. I don't know if I will.
I like Sarah Longo. How do you fuck do you say his last name?
Longa?
The
this guy. I was
guy,
like, you just
guy.
said it.
This guy.
Gregorio.
Gregorio. I was like that. Like I tend to lean his way, but I agree. It's because Allinger I don't think is like very very good, but he's had some. I remember he's been good to me like betting wise. I remember he won for me like Contender Series, like a huge underdog, and won. If I remember, maybe like plus like 400 or 500, like really big. And then I remember he was losing a fight like the whole time, and then knocked the guy out in the third round. That was his win. I know he's in the UFC. He's had some losses as well. So he does have that, like he can pull some crazy shit out of the fire, but it's probably a dog or pass, I guess. Even though I was leaning Gregorio at first, but it's just the Contender Series. It's tough because you just really don't know.
Yeah,
especially
it's
like Jack brought up a great point when you're like a guy that's just knocking everybody out in the first like few minutes. It's just tough to gauge how good they are, where their cardio is. Like we've seen Allinger like actually go 3 hard rounds numerous times.
Yeah. So
it's tough. I'll say dog or pass.
Then we've got Corey McKenna versus Jacqueline Amorim in the women's strawweight division. Corey McKenna, a slight favorite here.
I like her.
I was going to say, actually, I feel like I would play her at -125.
If she just didn't have the worst game plan ever against Elise, what did I say? Game plan?
Yeah, game plan. But I'm laughing because she did have the worst game plan.
Oh, I thought I said game plan
Yeah.
by action.
No.
She had the worst game plan ever against Elise Reed. Didn't wrestle and then lost to 29-28. If she just wrestled, like she wouldn't even be fighting Jacqueline Ann Marine in this fight. And I
she'd
think
be in a 4-fight win streak.
Yeah, and I think she's ever since she went over, she fights what's your eye favors camp?
Alpha male.
She fights at Alpha Male now. I think, and she's someone that's like spent her whole life working on mixed martial arts. She is this new age. She's done everything. Her striking could get better, but Jacqueline Amarim is not like this phenomenal striker. She's definitely someone that is going to look to get you on the map. But McKenna, I think, is good enough to not get in bad situations on if she takes Amarim down, and then I think she could even find a finish. I'm going to be on McKenna. I like her. I think she's somebody
she's
that
pretty good,
like.
yeah.
I don't think she has the upside of being like a huge UFC talent, but I think she has the upside of being like a consistent top 15 fighter.
Yeah, I was gonna not take anything, and me and Jack Mack talked this one the other day, and he talked me into her because I think it's funny that it's the fight you talked about. It just left a sour taste in my mouth. I was on her really big. She didn't wrestle the whole time. She wrestled the third round, won easily, and just lost like a decision she should have never lost. And I'm hoping that she learned a lesson in that fight and going forward, like because I think if she uses the grappling here, she will win.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll probably be on McKenna as well.
Going back to the last fight, Adams in the chat said Ray said he's pumped for this guy. Also doesn't know how to say his last name 100%.
Fair. So no one should shun me for that. Even his own coach doesn't know.
Shout out New Amsterdam Vodka, by the way. Born from an uncompromising passion for great vodka, while making great vodka is their passion, they are most inspired to stay true to who they are and share an unbridled passion for everything they do, from pursuing their dreams to celebrating with friends, having an epic night out. That's why New Amsterdam Vodka is the official vodka of Barstool Sports. I always take a little pride when I go to my local convenience store, liquor store, see New Amsterdam next to the Pink Whitney. They always got a little cardboard cutout. I like seeing that. So shout out New Amsterdam.
That's awesome. New Amsterdam, St. Patrick's Day this weekend.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yep.
So, hey, start your day early with New Amsterdam and, maybe put in the coffee a little bit. You never know. Maybe get the day started early, obviously responsibly, but it's a big weekend.
I've been drinking Amsterdam since college.
Yeah,
best bang for your buck there is. I promise.
There you go. Oman McKenna as well. I like to root for Welsh fighters. Jack Shore, Corey McKenna, any fighter from Wales. I'm like, all right, great flag.
Lee's gonna like you for that.
Yeah.
Lee does have the flag behind him. Josh Kulabau versus Danny Silva in the featherweight division. I don't have odds on this one.
Kulabau's minus like 190-ish.
190.
They
yep.
must. So I think they must really like Silva
Yeah.
because getting Kulabau in your debut is a fucking
It's a tough
tough-ass fight.
Yeah.
Kulabau, I think, is pretty fucking good.
So do I.
So this is probably maybe a step. I want to kind of want to say Kulabau, but I probably a stay away because I mean just the fact that they're giving Silva this fight, they obviously really like him. But Kulabau is like a tough, like pretty durable vet.
Yep.
Who is sure he's well rounded too.
He's fought a lot of guys.
He tapped Melsick. He's had some really good fights. He had a draw with Jourdain. That was like a really good scrap. He's a good fighter. He's a guy he's a guy like maybe like a fringe. Like he's probably close to be. I thought actually a good fight he lost with Lerone Murphy.
Yep.
He's a guy that probably not top 15, but he's like, to me, he's probably like top 25.
Yeah.
By the way, like really close to that. So he's a guy that I think will stay in the UFC for a long time. He'll win some. I think this is a fight he should win, but I don't know if I'll lay minus 190. Like I think the line might even get bigger as the week goes on.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this fight in terms of like just a betting perspective. Just gonna let it play out. Should be good. Probably like a 3-round war kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it should be a good like fight to watch.
I don't have a bet on it. I don't know if I will.
Then in the flyweight division, we've got Hafel Filo. It's like a tongue twister. Hafel Filo versus Ode Osborne. Ode Osborne plus 150 in this fight. I kind of like him at plus 150. Lost to Almabayev in his last fight. Almabayev was so good last weekend that I now kind of look at that loss a little bit differently. Ode Osborne does beat a lot of flyweights. Been around the division for much longer. Filo's third UFC fight. He's got 1 win, 1 loss. I like the underdog.
I was curious Jack Back's take on this fight because when I see this fight, I see two things. I see everything you said, plus even like his other like he got knocked out by like I think it was Manel Kopp. Like early, like his losses are like pretty good guys. But I think Filo is good. I think he's a really good grappler, jiu-jitsu. But I'm just curious, are we overrating him because he almost knee-barred Makayev? Or is he actually good? Is he like really good?
I think both are true.
Because I lean towards that I think they're both like I think Ode is like pretty solid as well, like respectable. Yeah. And I think Filo is actually like pretty good. But like stylistically, I like Filo here, like with the jiu-jitsu, but I'm torn because I have reservations.
Yeah.
About maybe even like his striking with Osborne, but I'll pick Filo to win the fight, but I may get there. I'm not sure. I guess, but I'm just hesitant of like, am I overrating him because he had a good like scrap with Makayev, or is he legit?
Yeah, I could say I could see this kind of just going two ways, and that's probably how the line's set up right now. Is Ode could really starch him on the feet and really take control there, but Filo, I mean, if he gets Ode on the mat, I feel like he's going to find a submission. That's
kind of how I feel too. That's why I lean that way because I feel like I think that's more likely than Ode just like knocking him out or something.
I think it's kind of like Filo and who we saw last week, Asa.
Like Amabulov.
They're very similar. I think Amabulov's a little bit better, but like they would have a good fight.
Yeah.
They're both
different body types. Filo's like longer, and I mean, Mbuyev's more like stocky.
But I think that would be a great fight. And I see that's why they kind of look at this and look at how Ode performed against Amabulov and see it now. So I don't know. Maybe the submission price isn't out yet. Maybe something that catches my eye. Ode is a guy though, and maybe it's just because he looks like $1 million when he walks in the fucking ring and like he's found some knockouts. But even when Ode knocked out, who did he knock out like this past summer or 2 summers ago?
The Russian like type guy?
Adashev.
I can picture. Yes. Yeah.
Adashev.
I could picture the knockout in my head.
Yeah.
He landed like a crazy hook, and then I remember the ref made him eat like so much unnecessary ground and pound.
Yeah.
He was like pounding his like limp face.
That guy hasn't fought since Adashev. It's weird.
It was a bad knockout. Ode like smoked him.
So yeah, I mean, Ode will be.
Also met him. Very nice guy.
You met Ode?
Yeah. I told the story. Remember maybe I told it off air. I met him one of the PFL fights.
Oh, that's right.
And I just went up to him and just was like, yo, like
Aljo was at?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to Aljo.
That's right.
I was literally sandwiched between Aljo and Gilly.
And Gilly. Yeah.
But Ode, I met him. I was literally trying to just like be like, yo, like, what's up, man? Like, big fan, thanks for all like the good fights. He just like, you want a picture?
And
you're like, oh,
that's
sure.
right.
I was like,
remember
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And we took a picture, and it looks like I ate 7 of him. So it's a funny photo.
That's hilarious.
Then we've got Josiane Nunez versus Chelsea Chandler.
Okay, I love this
Fight between women's bantamweights, both ranked. Nunez is 13, Chandler's 14. Why do you love this?
Chandler all day.
Chandler all day.
Yeah, yeah.
I
She's
think
just gonna. Josiane Nunez goes in there
Dude,
and just.
I love watching
yeah,
her,
she's
though.
hilarious. She'll throw a punch from. She'll be over
Dude.
there.
Dude, but the first fight she had, I can't remember if it was contender or it was in the actual UFC. They gave her somebody who was like so tall and she's so short.
You know who was Bay
she-
Malecki?
And she knocked her. And
you remember that name is so
Nunez,
funny.
Nunez knocked her fucking block off.
It was
She's
Bay.
she's like so short, and she knocked her out like viciously.
I remember I bet Bay in that fight.
But yeah, she's short and has crazy
hardcore
power.
MMA bet to make.
Yeah.
Because I love.
She has crazy power, but she's really short.
Let
Do
me
you
tell.
like Chandler in this fight?
Yeah, I agree with Jack Back. I think Chandler should win
She's
for sure.
plus 124 on DraftKings right now.
I'm
so-
worried that she's might get knocked silly. Like there might be some times there might be some times where you're stressed.
Yeah.
But
I-
I think Chandler should win.
I bet Bay in the last card before the whole world shut
Or
down.
COVID.
Oh, really? Was it the Brazil card?
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
it was Adesanya Yoel Romero.
Yeah, and it was Veronica Hardy that she beat,
Oh,
and then
wow.
she
yeah.
came back
What
and
a comeback
fought.
by her.
Before she was Veronica Hardy, I think.
Yes,
Is she not married to Dan Hardy?
And now,
Yeah,
and now
Yeah.
she's like a really good fighter. Out
Yeah.
of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere, and then she fought Josiane Nunez, lost with that overhand left, and she hasn't fought again. Bay Malecki, come back into my life.
Is Chelsea Chandler
Now
the one who
she's-
sprinted away? Johnny Drama
She
28
was.
in the Rumble
She was.
chat.
She was in the contender series.
No,
Or was that-
on the-
no, or
that
was
was
that-
a real UFC fight.
Oh, it was. You're right. It was early.
That-
in
Bay
that's one of the
Malecki's just
funniest-
like a
Oh.
fitness influencer.
Good for Bay Malek.
Good for her. Chelsea Chandler running away is one of the all-time screenshots from a fight. Where it's just,
I think that could have impact on the odds.
it could. Yeah,
The people are just like, oh, like from a power puncher, she's gonna run away. That's
I
bad
forgot
news.
about that. Yeah,
Wait, but she ran away and lost to Norma. But Norma Dumont's good.
Yeah, Dumont's
She
a
is.
stud. Yeah,
Mike Davis versus Nathan Levy.
Mike Davis.
Levy. Mike, yeah, he's minus 305, but yeah,
probably by
I think
knockout.
that's an easy win for him.
By
Mike
finish.
Davis, he fights once a year, but he's good.
He's real
Yeah, I
good.
would say by finish.
When was his last
I don't
fight?
think Nathan
A
Levy
year
is
ago, I
like-
think.
October 1st, 2022.
Wow, it's like a
Yeah,
year and a half. We're
more
talking
than a half.
year and
Holy fuck!
Year and a
Versus
half.
Slava Claus.
Yeah, he beat him.
Yeah.
It was a great fight, though, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
I
you
think
know, Mike Davis should handle here.
Yeah, I think he should.
If there was plus money on Inside the Distance, I would take it. In a
Did
heartbeat.
Mike Davis lose to Gilbert Burns in his debut?
Burns at 155?
Burns versus Davis. It doesn't give me the result. Burns versus Davis.
Are you a Tapology or Sure Dog guy?
I like Tapology.
I
much
am
better.
too. I always go Tapology.
Yeah, Burns beat Davis in his debut.
Hmm.
Rear naked choke. Yeah, should be an
But
easy
yeah,
fight. though.
I think Mike Davis.
Then Thiago Moises versus Mitch Ramirez in the headline fight of the prelims. Moises minus 470.
This was supposed to be Brad Riddell.
Oh, that's right.
It
Yeah,
was supposed to be like an awesome fight, and then Mitch Ramirez is a making his debut off the contender
Brad
series, I'm pretty
Riddell,
sure.
teammate of James Gallagher. Correct.
Brad Riddell's like an Aussie guy.
Who am I thinking of? That trains
Brad
with,
Katona?
no, that trains in
Riddell
in
trains with like
Thailand.
Adesanya and shit with like that crew, like Eugene Bateman,
I'm confusing him
Oh,
with
you
another
think he was
guy.
a
or
wrestler.
Barman, whatever his name is.
James Gallagher kept bringing someone up
Yes.
during our interview. He was like, "We train with him, one of the best strikers," and I confused them. I don't remember who it was now, but check out. I was trying to plug our James Gallagher interview. Check out our interview. With
Yeah,
James
Gallagher's
on
great.
Rumble.
I think I think Moises. It's just tough. Like fighting Thiago Moises in your debut is
Yeah,
really tough.
George
Minus
Hickman?
470. No, I feel like his name began with a B. I think I'm confusing Brad for another B.
I'm just on James's Instagram.
If anyone's in the chat knows what the fuck I'm talking about, let me know.
Brad Riddell hasn't fought. He hasn't fought since Adesanya Pereira fought.
Oh my god.
When Adesanya lost.
Yeah.
We were there. That's how I remember. It was he got oh
MSG?
no, it wasn't. I'm wrong. He lost to Moicano that fight. But he lost to Jalen Turner. And then he like almost retired. He basically like almost retired. He got guillotined in like 40 seconds.
All right, on to the main card. Isaac Delgarian versus Christian Rodriguez in the featherweight division.
This line's
Delgarian
gone crazy.
What's it at now?
right
It's
now.
190.
Yeah.
I think it's
What
fair.
did it open at?
Even, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe
Christian
minus
Rodriguez
120.
plus 154.
Av reminded me of this yesterday, but he's going up in weight. This is going to be a tough.
Yeah,
I think
C-Rod's
Isaac.
going up in
I
weight.
think Isaac
That's right.
Delgarian is. He's something we really got to look out for.
Yeah, I think he's one of those where he might be like we don't realize like how he's only fought like once I think in the UFC so far.
And he made poor Francis Marshall, our guy, look
Yeah,
like he doesn't belong in the UFC.
Delgarian, I think there's a chance he might be like very good. I think there's almost a weird matchup in the sense of I think it's like two like prospects with a lot of potential who are facing off like very early. Like I think we could look back and see like both of them have like very good like long UFC.
You know what
careers.
I think it also is? Like the UFC is like, oh, you don't want to make weight, Christian Rodriguez? Oh, you're coming up to 145 and fighting this killer.
You're fighting a young savage with like that doesn't have like any name brand.
Yeah,
But he's a fucking killer.
he's a killer.
He's only 6-0. Delgarian.
It's so interesting. You'd think he would have more of a name because he was on that Find a Fight or whatever it's called. And
You're looking for a fight.
the Nelk Boys, he's the Nelk Boys guy.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But you would think the Nelk Boys would push him.
I think they didn't end up. I think they like did, and then it didn't work out.
Damn.
I think they like initially chose him like that night, and then they couldn't. I don't know what happened, but it didn't work out. I think they basically just chose Mike Milan instead.
Got it.
They basically just said, "Fuck it, let's just pick a Canada guy who's like somewhat established already."
Got it.
And then he got Neil Magny, unfortunately.
Then we got GM3 versus Brian Barberina. Should be a scrap. I think GM3 is.
How does GM3 not finish him?
I think that just this is how does Barberina not get rear naked choked here?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Like I think GM3 would have to really like fumble badly to not because
He just won 3 rounds with Petrosky, who hits fucking hard.
that's what I'm
dude.
saying. Like Barberina is like more of a volume than he's pure like power puncher. Like even we saw with like the Robbie Lawler fight, like he came on late after he was getting battered. Like I think and we saw RDA fought him at 170, tapped him out like very fast. I just feel like GM3 should do this. Should do not to say he's like obviously RDA, but I think he should get a submission here.
Are there?
Do you like him at like money line price?
No,
I would bet
Only
if I was
sub?
going to bet, I'd bet sub or like finish price.
because the finish price will probably be like Barberena is just. I can't believe he's still fighting.
Yeah, I thought he said he was going to retire.
Me too.
I thought he like said that. Well, didn't he say his last fight he was like done?
Yeah.
I thought he said that.
I think he did. Maybe.
I thought
not
he even like brought his wife basically being like, yeah, like soak it all in. Like this is like, yeah.
Wasn't it in Kansas City? Or am I making that up?
I thought it might have been on like a pay-per-view. Or he might have been on like the undercard of it, but I could have swore he was in a fight that he basically was like admittedly before like calling it quits.
Yeah, against Mahmoud Muradov.
And he lost, right?
Yeah.
He got submitted.
No, he got
Decision.
submitted by Gunnar Nelson. The one
That
before.
was his
Yeah.
last fight. He was in England. That's right. It was a free trip
Yep,
to England.
I was there.
Was it on the was that on Leon Usman 3?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
then I wasn't there. No.
Then
that
he
was it.
fought in July and lost.
That was Muradov.
Yeah,
Okay.
in England again.
Damn.
This guy's unreal.
Good for him.
Penny Kianzad versus Macy Chiazon. Chiazon.
All right, so here's the deal with this fight. There's no world Macy Chiazon should be favored minus 200. I know
She's
Penny.
almost 250 now.
No, is she really?
She's 245 on DraftKings
Woo.
at this exact moment.
All right, so
No,
yeah,
238. Minus 238.
go Sweden. We're on Penny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's like a system play.
You have to be. Yeah.
Like Shiazin's laying over minus 200, just auto fade.
Yeah.
I remember she got knocked out by that Arena Donna like body kick from her back.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was wild.
That was one of the craziest finishes ever.
Yeah.
That was the Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson.
Yep.
Um,
I remember I had a big bet on who was it?
Aldana.
Aldana, and she was fighting so poorly. I was like, "There's no way you're losing this fucking soccer mom." and then she finished her on her back,
Lands a heel kick from her back, a liver shot heel kick,
and then Macy
and finished her with it.
So Macy and Panny have already fought.
Oh, have they?
They fought on the Ultimate Fighter finale
Bro, how do I not remember
in
that?
2018 because they're both very forgettable.
Yeah, true.
And then
And Macy
Macy
won.
Chiasson has lost to Lena Landsberg.
Macy submitted her back then, if that means anything.
I'm rolling with. I can't believe Macy beat Norma Dumont.
Yeah,
Macy Chiasson, like maybe I should give her some more respect.
it's dogger pass for me.
If you're laying minus 250 on Macy Chiasson, reach out to me. I want to talk with you. What do you know?
There's someone's gonna like smash a parlay on Macy Chiasson and like a controversial split decision.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, "I told you so."
Yeah. What do you know? I need to know something that you know.
OSP versus Kennedy and Chekwu. Are there any bets
This
on
is
this that you
just-
would like?
I don't know why. For some reason, when I saw this fight before the line came out, where I saw the line, that I thought I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get like a good bet on Kennedy here."
No.
I don't know why
You're gonna get minus.
I don't know why I
500?
thought, or for some reason, I was gonna get like, I was gonna wake up into like minus like 200 on Kennedy, like at some point, and then seeing the line like a week or two ago, and just being like, "Oh, it's
You get minus
like
600.
It
now,
was
yeah.
like it was like 450 at the time. I think when I first saw it,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, never mind."
Yep.
I was like, "Fuck that." But I think Kennedy gets a knockout here. Kennedy by knockout is minus 225.
All right.
So this is a no play for me, but I think maybe under 1.5. But even that, I'm like, if you want something, I'm throwing lines out there for you, but I don't no play. But I think he should win pretty easily.
The co-main event should be a good fight. Brian Battle versus Ange Lusa. I'm a big Battle guy. I think Ev, you are too.
He battles like one of my guys. He's been good to me financially.
Yeah. So I think I'll definitely be on Battle, and you could get him on DraftKings.
I like Ange.
minus 185.
I do like Ange Lusa though. I think Ange Lusa is underrated. I will say that. He on Contender, he lost like a competitive fight to JDM,
Mhm.
and then he's had some like decent performances. He beat Reese McKee, but also was like almost died at the end of that fight. McKee came on really. I actually watched it last night, and McKee, he was beating the shit out of McKee early. McKee's a dog. I like McKee, but he's fighting an AC, I think. But he was beating the shit out of McKee for like 2 rounds, and then McKee came back and was like, if there was like a 4th round, I think McKee might have finished him.
Wait, Reese McKee's the guy that hates France.
No, that I think he might be fighting the guy who hates France actually.
Got it.
In AC.
Legend.
Reese McKee is he got like a quick debut or like a short notice and had to fight fucking Hamzat.
Oh yeah.
When Hamzat like during like COVID, when Hamzat was like, so he got a really tough draw. I think he got cut. Then he won the Cage Warriors belt. He beat Burlinson. I don't even remember Burlinson. He was the super like highly touted dude, and then he got knocked out silly by Laney's, who's not even in the UFC anymore.
Yeah.
On Contender, got knocked out like silly by him as like a plus like 600 underdog. And McKee fought him and was like losing badly, and then like knocked Burleson out with like a vicious knee in Cage Warriors, I'm pretty sure, in like the 4th round or something. But Ange Lusa, I think, is actually like pretty good. He's durable. He can strike, he can grapple. But I think Battles is like underrated. I think Battles is actually like really good. I think he's a legit like fringe top 15 guy in this division. I hope if he gets a win here, I'm actually going to bet him by inside the distance because I think he hits harder than McKee. He has cardio. He tapped Petrosky.
Yeah.
I think Battles his only loss in the UFC. It's to Renat.
Yeah.
Who I think is a fucking stud.
Renat's a stud.
And he lost that fight. He just got grapple fucked.
Yeah.
But he's had some like big time knockouts. I think Battle's like legit good fighter and is like just getting better and better. I think his body, he just gets underrated because his body type's kind of like not the most like imposing. He's got kind of very just like normal average build. But I think he's really good. I like him here.
Yeah, I like him too. Everything that I've just said, I reiterate. It should be a good fight. Angelus is he's not bad at all, but it's going to be interesting. I think Brian Battle's a guy also just from his social media and whatnot. I mean, the guy's all in on fighting. It's the only thing he cares about, it seems, which is huge from when you bet on a guy, you see that's a big deal, because some guys, not to say that, like, I get it, there's different guys, they handle their training differently, but some guys, like, they just don't care that much. They're good at fighting and they just do it, and then they just go home and, like, they don't really care. It seems like the only thing that Brian Battle cares about is fighting.
I remember that the Ultimate Fighter, he was the last pick
in
his weight class, and he won the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then even he was supposed to fight Gore, who, like, was out. Then he fought him, like, after and beat him too. He's beat.
Gore. Yeah,
they've had some weird matchmaking with Battle. Like, I feel like he's deserved, like, bigger fights and just hasn't really gotten them.
Even him beating,
like, his last fight, he fought AJ Fletcher. I was like, how has he done what he's done? He's getting, like, Fletcher.
But the one before that, when he finished, what's his name?
Gabe Green.
Dude,
smoked Gabe Green.
Gabe Green good.
Charging him like a madman, and he slept him, like, quick.
In my opinion, Gabe Green's like a top 20, 25 fighter in that.
He's not bad.
Yeah, I think Gabe Green's good. It's like a veteran too, kind of.
I mean, Sato, who's, like, not great, but I mean, he head kicked him to, like, the moon.
Yeah.
But, like, he's having some exciting finishes, and he can, like, go 3 rounds too. I think Battles is super underrated. Plus 225 by finish. That's what I was gonna add before. I like a money line and finish. I'm gonna.
Didn't he almost not get the finish against AJ Fletcher? I feel like we were yelling about it.
There was a weird. He finished him I watched that fight too this week. He finished him in the second round, but there was a weird. The first round, it kind of was like, "What are you doing, Brian Battle?"
That's what it was.
But then the second round, he's done that in like a few fights, like he's. The Petrowski fight was kind of like that.
I remember texting in our group about Brian Battle.
Yes.
Like, what is this guy doing?
No, I remember having the same emotions because I've been on him literally like every fight he's been in. So I remember I was on him in that fight. And there definitely was, and watching it, the first round, Fletcher was kind of like, it almost looked like Battle. He was having trouble with it. Fletcher was so much shorter, and he had power, so he kind of was like trying to stay out of that punching range, but also Fletcher was kind of like, I think Fletcher also was in the spot where he was like winner, like get cut. So I think he's dealing with some adversity early, but nothing like too crazy.
Yeah.
And then came back and just finished him.
The main event, heavyweight bout between Tai Tuivasa and Marcin Tybura. Ty's obviously on a 3-fight skid.
Yep.
He's the favorite still, minus on DraftKings.
He's minus 120 right now.
Minus 120. Tybura plus 100. I'm so on Ty. I'm so in his corner here that if he has a knockout, I'll promise a shoey to everyone.
I love that.
I'll hit a shoey.
I love that.
With a Ty knockout.
I'll tell you what, Bob, I think he does it.
I think he does it too.
I really
Tybura,
do.
We're saying he can't knock out Tybura. This guy's knocked out some of the best.
Have you seen this video of him like hurting his knee?
No.
In late December.
Tybura or Tuivasa?
Tuivasa.
No, I have not seen this.
I saw it on Twitter. He maybe it wasn't as bad. But he was training and he like jumped up and then fell and his like knee non-contact.
It's late December though.
Late December's not that long ago. It's like
2 months. 2.5 months.
2.5 months. If he just tweaked it. If it's like he tore something, then I'm worried. But
also they did. So this fight was supposed to be on UFC 298.
Got moved because they moved the main event, right?
It got moved to. I don't know. You just were striking up was it like maybe he needed a few more weeks with the injury, or was it? They needed a main event where like let's tie Tuivasa heavyweights.
Yeah.
We know how much they love putting heavyweights in these fight night main events, which Ty is actually one that's like worth it because he brawls and every fight he's in is exciting. But I just think Tybura, this is like his losses are literally to like Cyril Gane, Sergey Pavlovich, and then Volkov, who even Volkov was like and I actually thought his grappling was better than the Volkov fight. He was trying to do things and his Volkov is just good. But I think like Tybura is now we're getting back down to earth where this is the level of fighter that Ty knocks out silly.
Yeah.
And I think he does. Now, would it shock me if he lost? No. But I think this is the kind of fight where he lands a big shot. And Tybura is so hittable.
Also,
trying to find the video.
Johnny Drama in the chat's telling us Ty had his meniscus removed. Like after that video?
He might not need it.
Oh, also, can you just have like your meniscus, ACL, and MCL removed so you can never tear them?
Wouldn't be the worst idea. He
Big
walks.
brain stuff from
He
me.
walks forward. He's not exactly the biggest like side to side guy.
Yeah, true.
Just
He's like a
storm forward
chess
and throw
piece.
bombs, yeah.
It
We need to just go.
rules.
Yeah, we need to just go straight this way.
Yeah, on Tai Tuivasa with a knockout. You'll see. I'm not gonna drink beer. I'm not a beer guy, but I'll pour some Arizona green tea in the shoey.
Oh, that's okay.
Maybe New Amsterdam.
Yeah, maybe mix in a little. Maybe put a little shot in there with
All right,
with the iced tea.
Yeah.
Tibur is what? Polish?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that change your bet?
No, I saw a tweet about it. I'm trying to find it and I just can't. And I know the guy who tweeted it out was like, I have a max bet on the Polish guy or something. I want to find the video and share it around to see people's opinion because that kind of spooked me, but maybe he's fine.
I hope someone asks him about it this week or something. I just want to hear him like talk about it.
Yeah.
Even though obviously I imagine he would lie, but I just want to feel his like body language.
Yeah.
I want to read I want to read between the lines.
Yep. You want to see his eyes.
Yep.
But yeah, Tibur is just I could see him kind of wrestle fucking him, but then again, it's just like it feels like every time Tibur kind of goes up against great competition, he kind of loses. Like he did. Now, here's the thing. But the only thing is, Tuivasa hits harder than Tibur. Like Tibur almost had him out of there in that first round, and then he lost it, if you remember correctly.
Who?
Wait, sorry, Romanov.
Yeah.
Romanov hits our
Ty hits harder.
Ty hits harder than
Way harder.
Romanov. So if he gets in that situation, I feel like Tuivasa would find a finish.
Also, Romanov was more like grappling and shit.
Yeah,
Well, like Ty's gonna just like want to just like walk him down and
that is true.
Just knock his block off.
Because
Which I really
technically,
hope he does.
Oh, I would love that. He needs it.
He needs a big. I was watching the UFC, but like a highlight of all his. He's got for a heavyweight. He's got some insane like highlight reel.
Oh, yeah.
finishes.
Amazing.
The
ones.
one that knee he landed early in this is insane.
Dude, even the shot that he hit Cyril Gahn with that knocked him out, that didn't
Dude.
knock him out, crazy.
I think my favorite is the Sakai knockout.
You got to remind me
Like
which.
the one it's up.
I mean, I
Gucci
remember
Sakai up against
him.
the cage, and literally he hurts him, and then he's throwing like this unleashing a combo, and he lands a vicious right hook.
and
That he literally, Bob, if you'll remember when you see it, where Sakai, he literally folded him so clean and his body was so limp. His
Oh.
leg is literally like tucked under his like ass.
Yeah, it is.
Like the ref literally had to like
I remember
pull his
that.
leg out from under him.
Remember that well.
And
Vicious
that's
knockout.
a
And that fight was another one where it was like a pick 'em.
that's
And he
Oh,
just-
that shot he hit him with.
dude, go back and everyone I would say go back. It's on the UFC like channel. They post like a highlight reel of his knockouts. You just see he's throwing a combo and the right hook comes and his body just drops.
Yeah.
Instant. Like the second his knuckle to chin, he was out cold.
Sakai
Instant.
is the common opponent between these two. Sakai knocked out Tibura.
I really think that Tybura is not gonna be able to handle the power.
So I don't know what's causing me hesitation. I don't think I'm going to end up betting Tibura, but the Tuivasa side does seem like it's intriguing. What do you think his KO line is going to be? By plus 100?
Yeah, literally, like if he's minus 120, I was gonna say plus like 110 maybe best.
And I will say, I mean, he kind of gave
Ty via KO
What is it?
plus 100.
Yeah, I would say makes sense. Like it's just crazy to see him winning this fight in a 3-round decision like that. It feels impossible.
Ty in
5
round
rounds.
1 KO.
5, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's even more there, so even more. 5 rounds.
Ty to win by knockout in round 1 plus 275. I like that.
I mean, I think that's the most likely for him to do it.
Round 2 is plus
But
600.
we've seen him do it in round 2. Like Sakai did round 2, Lewis he did round 2.
Yeah.
Tibura by sub.
Tybura by sub is plus 500.
But see, to me, not that that's not a horrible play. If I see Tybura winning, I see it being like ground and pound.
Interesting.
What's Tybura by knockout?
Plus 225.
I just feel like it's more if he's gonna. I feel like it'd be more like him just like getting on top and like just reigning, like just getting dominant
And-
position.
Decent play here. Ty Tuivasa via submission in the 5th round plus 30,000.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, people would have laughed at you if you said that about Yuri.
True.
He did it to Glover.
That was the Spin and Back Fist MMA show for UFC Vegas 88. Send it to your friends. If they got, if they're like, what are your picks this weekend? Just send them this video, this video on Rome.
And like it as well, please.
Like it,
Like it.
subscribe, follow, all that stuff. We've got an audio feed for the podcast as well. And we'll be live after the fights, as always, to break them down. So see you on